Oh, good. I got it.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, Frank.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, good.
Let's call this month's November meeting to order.
Order.
Okay. And on the agenda, we will have two public speaking periods, one at the beginning of the meeting and one at the end. We'll do head of school report. We have a little bit of new business, committee updates, and then we'll have an executive session at the end of the meeting. Here you go. I have my extra. And first, let's open up any public comments at this time. I can't.
I have a comment.
Okay, go ahead, Robin.
Well, I just wanted to check in with the development committee because I had asked a while back about, I don't know, just
And you-
what was going on with it. And I wanted to specifically ask, because I didn't hear about Giving Tuesday and any annual appeal letter that is maybe going to go out.
So I thought I had read that we were a go ahead for the Tuesday. But I wasn't, and I know I'm supposed to write a letter, but I need a little guidance with that.
I'm sorry, what? I can't, you need a little what? Guidance, I said.
Like, for example, if there was one last year, if I could have that so I could design this year's, that would just be helpful to build.
I don't know of one from last year. And then for the Giving Tuesday fundraiser, who is hosting the Giving Tuesday fundraiser? Or is it being hosted, or how is that being worked out?
That I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, she did. Since did she reach out like Friday? I'm trying to get my email. Cool. Give you all of that. Okay, awesome.
Aubrey, Robin, Audrey.
Yeah, I know that Audrey said that she was gonna do she was gonna manage a sort of a competition. Is there anybody going to be posting one for the school on the school's Facebook page?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
Robin, I thought that we had talked, that you and I had emailed back and forth about that.
I had just asked about it and I said I had done that in the past and I didn't know whether family committee had wanted the development committee to sort of take it over because that isn't really our domain. And so I was just asking about if there are any plans for that.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But I'm happy to write something. I'm just not quite sure of how all of that works. So,
Oh, what we had done in the past, was Robin had made a page for Mount Village Charter School that you could put into, and a few other families had done it as well, but that's intended to be because she would post it up on the family page, and that's where we would raise, how much we raised last year, Robin? You raised like
3,000.
a lot of money. So I think that because it is a bit of a management thing, it would be nicer to have it on the front page and not necessarily. I think that's what might be something to do instead of having it fall to our family committee.
So it falls to me.
Well, I don't know,
No, it follows to the development committee, whoever is on the development committee. That
Okay.
was the idea.
Okay.
I'm happy to organize a meeting for the development committee. I know some people who are interested in
doing that and,
Great.
and get that going. I don't want to end up on the development committee in the end, but I'll get it started.
Yeah, I mean, I had put together a list and I thought the idea was that everyone was going to have met in their individual committees prior to this meeting. I guess that's why I'm asking the questions. I just assumed that people would have met.
I think a lot of committees did meet. So. But I think that'll come up when we have our committee updates.
Okay.
So Liz, thank you for organizing, and then if you can. If someone can tell me what to do, I will
Sure.
do it.
I'll get it started, and then when things are functioning, I'll step off.
Perfect.
Okay, so I was under the impression that there were two things going on, but I guess I misunderstood that they were entirely separate, that one would. I got that there was a competition, but I thought that that was going through our Facebook, and it's not, that is not the same thing.
It does it would be a competition of people setting up their own Facebook fundraisers and contacting their own families and them being motivated to do that. In the past, we have had maybe 3 or 4 people do that, and maybe more people will be motivated to do it. But having sort of a primary fundraiser on the family Facebook page has been what has drawn the biggest, because for some people, they're like, oh, I don't want to make it. I want to just have something that I can share out. And if that's already established, they can share it out.
Not made clear, or at least I didn't find that to be clear, that there were two different pieces that needed to be addressed. So I will take ownership of that, and I will see, I have no idea even how to set it up on Facebook. I don't even know.
It's just, you set up a fundraiser for Giving Tuesday on Facebook has the directions there. You just need to choose a picture. And you set it up, and you set up as Mountain Village Church, so to be the beneficiary as a nonprofit.
No, but what she's talking about, like on our page,
On your page. It's the
on the
same,
school page.
it's the same procedure. It should be.
Okay. So is your question, what's the difference between the competition and? I didn't think there was a difference. I thought it was the same thing. And that wasn't made clear to me that it was gonna be two different things. We were gonna have something on our page as a separate piece from our families competing against each other to create a good school. I didn't know that those were two different. Gotcha. I don't know. Yeah. Robin said that they were, so. Oh, okay. So maybe we'll meet next week. Well,
Monday,
Tuesdays. Oh, right, Monday's happening. Yeah, Tuesdays, given Tuesday. Tuesday. Okay, so it'll be tomorrow. I'll go have lunch with Thea tomorrow.
Thank you.
What, is Thanksgiving this week?
Next week.
So
So
Giving
then
Tuesday is
Tuesday's a week from today.
It's Tuesday.
the Tuesday after.
Tuesday
No, it's
before.
the Tuesday before.
The
Oh, it
27th.
is?
Yes, always.
I don't know.
Week from today.
I don't give. I give Monday through Friday. I always thought it was the weekend after.
Nope.
I did too.
No, everyone spent their money by then. We want them to get money before they spend the money.
But I thought it was Cyber Monday and then Giving Tuesday. Am I?
Yeah, which is next week. A week from
Cyber
today.
Monday does not follow Black Friday?
No,
No.
Cyber Monday.
Can I,
Friday.
since, can I
Bob.
jump in here with all this discussion?
I,
Can I jump in for a sec?
Yeah.
So the other piece of this has been that when this is all over, Family Committee has also offered to help write thank you notes, because everybody who donates anything gets a personalized handwritten thank you note. And so somebody would be keeping track of that and making sort of a master list of all of the names, and then somebody would be getting all the addresses one way or another from the people who donate. And then you also, Alfie can also provide you with a list of names if she needs thank you notes written from donations that are coming in through the website.
Perfect. So it's a big project.
Yeah.
Just raising my hand. Giving Tuesday is November 29th. It
Yeah.
is,
but you guys make me feel out of my mind. It's the weekend, it's the
Yeah,
week
like-
after Thanksgiving.
correct. That's what I'm just chiming in to say yes.
And then the Tuesday after is Giving Tuesday.
I have no
Correct.
idea.
I'm saying to myself, oh my God, I'm on my mind.
Whatever.
Okay, David, I was just
They,
looking.
they gave all the money, they gave all your money away, Frank, to MVCS.
Okay, so it gives us an additional week,
Much more reason.
an additional week to make the development committee meetings.
Great.
Okay, so that whole, now all of next week up until Thanksgiving is open.
Correct.
All right. All right, thank you. Thank you, David. Any other public comments? Yes, ma'am.
Also, just a note to the board members, in an invitation that's campus cleanup this weekend. From 11 to 1 on Saturday, moving lots of hay bales. We love the board members out there helping out. Also, that if you all are planning to walk in the parade with us, we're inviting people to come and make lanterns down at Upper L on Saturday and Sunday between 10 and 12. That's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Robin.
And we just had.
I have a public comment, if that's okay.
I can't see who you are, but we could note you in the notes.
Okay, this is Liz Southard.
Hi, Liz.
Hi, I would like to bring up the idea of researching models for the free and reduced price federal school lunch program for Mountain Village. I think that we could be looking into, you know, whether we could collaborate with another school and cafeteria in the area, or maybe do some sort of a grab and go model that would fit the requirements, both for the kids at Mountain Village who might benefit from this program and be eligible for it. And also because I think when people apply for that program, that can lead to Title I funding, which provides more support for the students who need it. And I think it's, you know, necessary to support these groups to the greatest extent that we can.
Okay,
Thanks,
Liz,
Liz.
you know that you had sent out an email a while back asking about that. I know that we had some discussions. And that there wasn't at that time any interest in, you know, working with us from any of the schools that have the,
It's hard to hear you, Frank. You're breaking up.
Can you hear me? Can anybody hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Okay, we must have just had a lapse there for a second. Liz, could you hear anything I was saying? Or you froze?
No, I missed the last part.
I know that we had addressed an email, you know, there was an email that you had sent earlier, and we had brought up the idea of, you know, inquiring about that. At that time, Katie shared with us some information that we had tried this in the past, and at that time, there was no interest in working with us from the most local school districts. Not to say that now we might not have some interest in partnering. So it is something that we could pursue. I don't know who, you know, where we would have that, you know, which person or who would be able to inquire. Suggestion.
In mind, or do you have anything that we could start with practicing for one, like for instance?
Nick, can you hear us?
Just a little bit.
Liz, could you hear what Rebecca said?
I missed what Rebecca said. I know that the SAU science director at 48 is the person who manages the lunch program, so we would probably need to talk to him.
That would be a role, if we had a lunch program in school, it would become a role. For the parents.
Okay.
So I don't know. Liz, did you have time to investigate?
I don't really have, no, I do, yes. I'm very willing to investigate. I wouldn't put the school's name out there without permission to ask around about this, and that's why I wanted to bring it up at the meeting. If everyone says it's okay, I would, yes, like to research different models and talk to people about potential options to pursue this program, yes.
All right, Nick or David, do you have any issues with having that pursued and then?
No, I think it's a great idea, and like I said, could lead to more funding, which is always great.
And then Devin, I see you have a comment. Delaney?
Yeah, I'm just like to add that typically speaking, a providing school district will see a net positive benefit to their budget by providing free lunches to a smaller district or smaller schools such as this. So I would definitely recommend pursuing this because the Title I benefits to Mountain Village would be substantial compared to the effort to make this happen.
Which I think is why Liz is bringing this up. So, yes, good point. Thank you.
Thank you. Delaney, is it possible if you have any supporting documentation that you could get that to either Alfie, Merrill, or even to Liz directly?
I don't have direct supporting documentation. I know the charter school that my kids were at for the last several years, which was Strong Foundations, partnered with Pembroke Academy, and Pembroke provided the lunches for their free and reduced program. Strong Foundations sent out paperwork to all families at the beginning of the year to try to encourage families to apply for the free and reduced lunch to help boost their Title I funding.
Okay, that's fantastic. Liz, you heard everything that Delaney was saying there?
I did, yes. And I would be happy to look through options and come back next month with some answers.
That's fantastic. I think that is the consensus. David, I think, clicked off. We might have lost him. He had limited service, but the rest of the board all agrees that we're comfortable with you using the school name without issues in kind of supporting the ask, you know? So thank you.
Right.
Merrill has a question.
So my only comment is coming back for the next board meeting. It can't be handled as a public comment item. It would need to be on the agenda so that we can have a discussion about it. Because public comment typically we don't approve, but I agree, I want to do this, but I think just coming back, it needs to be an agenda item.
So
Liz, thank you.
to what Merrill is saying, I think, Liz, if you can send out anything that you find prior to next month's meeting, that'll give us as a board time to digest the free and reduced lunch. You guys get that? Yeah. You guys everybody out there laughing?
Okay, I'll send it out prior to the meeting.
All right, thank you. I said digest.
And she said, spit it out.
Oh, that's a good one. All right, any other public comments at this time? Go ahead.
Hi, it's Megan Campbell. Hope you guys are great. My public comment was just that, okay, I'm gonna do two. Again, thank you, and I hope I'm not saying anything that would add any work. But I was wondering in general, if you guys share among the board an agenda ahead of time for the monthly meetings? And if so, maybe you would consider sharing that to the wider school population, just in a forwarded email. I bet if you sent it, maybe some busy people would be like, oh, right, school board meeting, and maybe they would come too. And so we could, get more people to help support everything you guys are doing. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, head of school report, lay it on us.
All right,
I don't think it's uploaded, right?
Oh, it is.
yeah, oh, thank you.
You can show me how it-
It's like hidden in my
Share.
computer. So I go, that's it. So I'm gonna go share screen and then I pick,
Uploaded on Safari.
well, I have it here.
Yeah, I just want to make sure they can hear me. Yep. No, it's all right. Same for ourselves. Yeah. Wait, we can use their phone, yeah.
Yep, go for it.
All right, thank you. Let me know if I'm not speaking loud enough for you. So to start us off, we have welcome to a couple new hires. We're super excited to welcome Anna Brady. She is serving as our teacher assistant and assistant float for upper elementary. She will be a part of the process as Lisa exits for the maternity leave. So we're super excited. Mackenzie Ewing is going to be our teacher assistant in lower L, and she is starting on Friday. So we're super excited about that. I am still hiring. I am looking for the lower L teacher assistant float, a one-on-one support for upper L, an after-school program lead teacher assistant, and we always need more subs. I listened last time and we've added ed jobs to our hiring movement. And the fabulous faculty at PSU have shared the after-school program assistant position with 80 of their environmental ed kiddos. So I'm super hopeful. Tonight I am seeking discussion and approval of the expulsion policy. I want to say thank you to the governance committee. We met and just spent hours drafting, iterating, revising this policy. And so tonight is kind of layer one in getting the expulsion policy kind of in motion. But then we will need to decide on our suspension and expulsion review panels. That will be a discussion for next month. Do we do the expulsion policy now, Frank, or do I go through the bot report and then
Go,
it's on the agenda? Okay.
please. Yeah.
All right, grant updates. So we have a little double dipping on this one, the NHEED, the Need We Get Outside grant. I applied for it, and I think Liz applied for it too, so that could be a little bit of a problem. I applied for $2,000 for our winter program. We should be hearing back by December 15th. We'll kind of figure that out. The security grant, I still have not heard back. We should be hearing back any minute though, and that was for $5,000. And again, thank you, Liz, for the electric coop grant. We talked about that at our last board meeting, but I wanted to say it again. So again, more funds heading towards our winter program. The 22 audit is in process. This is our huge financial audit that we do with Raleigh and Associates. And during this part of that process, it's primarily Alfie and Michelle, who is our accountant. They're doing some of that heavy lift right now. ESSER 3 funds, Title 2, Title 4, we're still working on ESSER 3, and our Title 2 funds. We are spending lots of money on fantastic conferences and workshops for our staff. There's a list at the bottom of the report. And then we also are, our student support program, that's with Danielle. That program was audited and submitted last week. Next up, you'll see the financials provided to you by Alfie. I'll give you a minute to look at that, and you can also take a look at our current enrollments.
Showing the wrong thing.
So we didn't have any movement in the last 4 weeks.
As far as enrollment, yeah.
We had a 7th grade.
We
Yeah.
did have one in 7.
Yeah. But in general, it was a pretty
Stable.
stable group.
Are we looking at financials or enrollment?
Both.
Okay.
Mhm.
Sorry, I was talking about enrollment.
Mhm. Mhm.
If I want to join 3rd grade.
Now,
Paula, I have a question.
yep, Kate,
So we have 8 on the wait list for 6th grade, and we only have, we have 2 spots open in 5th grade, we cannot fill those with 6th graders at this point in the year, since 5th, 6th, 4, 5, and 6 are together.
right. There seems to be a hesitation on over enrolling grades like that, but yet we do it. You'll see that in
Yeah.
second grade, we do over enroll. I'm not sure why we haven't picked up one or two. I'll ask Alfie the thinking behind that. Other questions?
Well, we had done that before, for previous grades, and just, knowing that we, we're still young in this space, that we are weaker in 7th and 8th grade, and we do see attrition after 6th grade. Having a strong 6th grade might be a very wise move, in moving into having a more full 7th grade. We've discussed this before, and I think that this is something, I think that the Kate was sort of.
Yeah.
Alluding
Yeah.
to, so. Some of these students may still be around in January, but
It's just worth looking.
it's
into.
worth talking about, thinking about, maybe this is their December,
Because
their
once a
solstice
year,
gift.
Taking 2 more kids is not the work in the
Yeah.
world, and it's actually not a bad time of year to take on mid-years, right?
Right. Okay,
You got a natural break coming in the calendar.
I'll report back on that next month. Other questions? Okay, so recent activities are there, Halloween fun brought to you by the Amazing Family Committee, and also our incredible Brook Trout hosted a wonderful Halloween event here at school. Silent Journey at Cornerstone School, we spent some time, 2 days down there looking at a beautiful Montessori school. We've learned a lot and made some great connections. Progress reports are out, parent-teacher conferences have happened. Lots going on. Up ahead, I'm working with Nick. We're thinking about a partially paid maternity leave policy. scheduling some visits to our more local Montessori children's houses. Staff training for student-led conferences will be coming up. We have an Antioch student coming to spend the day with us. It's pretty sweet. She has 2 years to go and she already knows she wants to work here. So I love that.
Can we bring some cake? That's next Tuesday, right? Okay.
Yeah, name's Erin. So I'm, thinking about next year quite a bit. We're gonna need governance to help update that behavior policy. Thinking about the school calendar, I really need a half day, PD day every month next year. I'm thinking about 2 progress reports instead of 3, with an exhibition and a student-led conference. Kind of replacing that, more hands-on, more experiential for families to see actually what students are up to here. And then also thinking about next year, a full-time office manager is on my mind. Just saying. Reminders, welcome to the Board of Trustees. Teachers are ready for you to come and spend the second Tuesday of every month. And we look forward to showing off. Then there's a list of all of the professional development happenings for our teachers. There's some great things going on, and all is well. Questions?
Do you want to talk a little bit about any of those conferences we have listed, or
About what?
any of the conferences we have listed in that segment there at all? Or-
No, I think. I just want to, we're learning, we're really, staying focused on our vision and our mission. And everyone is taking on kind of what they can. Again, I've been 5 staff members down this whole year and an incredible amount of illness. There's not a whole lot of room for people wanting to do extra things and learning. So, but there is, lots of opportunity.
The one that called out, the 2 I noticed that stood out to me, just I'd seen these before, was the conference in Colorado, which has, they're looking for a keynote speaker. They're looking for speakers, so they're looking to do TED Talks or workshops there. And I'm just wondering, if that might be a place where it'd be good for us to sound off with something like a TED Talk of what, our mission is. I don't want to put anybody's out there for it, but I think that this might be an opportunity to say this is us and we're here, and some of the stuff that we're doing.
And TED Talk is not a small endeavor. That's a 6-month process of getting.
They want proposals next month. They want proposals December 15th. So proposal for a TED Talk isn't a production. It's actually, they're not, it's not a TED Talk. If you read what they're looking for, I'm just saying this might be something worth considering and worth thinking about. Because even if no one attended, that can even be done virtual. So, that's something there.
Right.
Because it's a great page and a great group, and I was excited that you saw that.
Yeah, that was from David, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you, David.
Thanks, David.
And I will be sharing this with our teachers tomorrow at our staff meeting. We'll see what happens. So I agree, it would be a great opportunity.
Any other comments on that? New business expulsion policy. Everybody should have had a chance to review this.
Should I pull that up here? Do
Yeah.
you want me to put expulsion policy? Yeah.
I mean, the governance committee's already worked through this, and this is the
Sure.
presentation, so it's mostly just if we have any individual questions.
Yeah.
You have any questions? Okay,
I looked over it. I don't see an issue.
Liz?
I've looked at it.
Hmm.
It looks good.
The question I had was, do we have 2 different review panels? A suspension and an expulsion,
Correct.
and they should probably be separate from each
Yeah,
other.
they would have to be called, we've had to call them two separate things. But the question that still remains is the constitution of that, which the board will have to decide.
Right. Tal, I spoke with Tal at length about I shared it with him as well. And because we're a board of 7 and now 8, actually, that changes things a little bit. He felt that the expulsion panel needed to be a group of 3. And then if there is an appeal from the family, that it would go to the remaining 4 of the board if need be. So but for the suspension panel, it's kind of a lighter load. That one is mostly about extending that 10 days if I need it to be extended. It isn't a hearing, it's more of a decision. Does that answer your question, Frank?
Oh, yeah, I know you've got it under control. Who's gonna make up that panel? Do you have like, are you gonna try to staff that from within and then just ask for board presentation on the more serious expulsion? You know, board participation, or are you gonna try to, do you wanna integrate? I feel like we're gonna end up running out of people that aren't already involved in the decision, right, of running it up the ladder. And then there'd be a lot of redundancy with.
Right. So for the suspension panel, my thought was who's available quickly. You know, it can be a little more ad hoc in my mind, not so set. I think though how it would be good to have the expulsion panel set though, but of board members, like who are the 3 going to be to do that work. So every time we have a new board configuration, that should be a conversation, who is on that, it's kind of like a committee, who is on the expulsion panel. I didn't have it in my head that I would make that decision. I thought it would be, I think it's voluntary.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering about the suspension side of things.
Oh.
Like if you just wanted to put people in, like, from staff.
Oh, no, it can't be staff. The suspension panel is also board.
So these are both state, the state law is mandating that the board take action in both of these instances. So the board has to comprise of panels. And the question here is, what process are we going to use? And it could be, you know, the executive committee plus 1 at large, or something to that effect.
I like that. So,
The issue, I mean, the only issue there, I think, is we just need a statement stating that, you know, in cases, because the relationship between the board and the student body is fairly intimate, that, you know, obviously anyone who feels close to the case would have to recuse themselves with right of recusal.
Right. Well, that's what I was actually thinking about this in terms of the expulsion, is that, you know, perhaps those who are appointed on this, at least for our current board configuration, might be those who don't have children in the school. And there's only 2 of them, but then the 3rd person on that could be the chair of the board of trustees, who would basically be sort of serving as a tiebreaker if there was a discussion there. That was my initial thought when I just looked at this, and that's the simplest way to approach it. But you know, that's just one simple way.
Is there a requirement of number 3?
Minimum of 3.
On the expulsion,
On the
on the
expulsion.
expulsion.
Which will change as we add numbers to our board, that panel will also have to be adjusted. Oh, it's the ratio.
Right,
Right,
it's
yeah,
the
the ratio. So right now, it's 3. When we add another board member, or 2,
To go up to
it's gonna go
4.
up to 4. And so on and so forth. We just need to make sure that, and while I do respect what you're trying to do about not having family members
that on the board on that panel, where that's gonna be a near impossible feat as we continue to grow this board. And so, but no, that's where we could start. I mean, it could be, if that's.
I don't
we know
disagree.
it's
I'm
hard,
just
we
saying
can
if that-
start at that point. 'Cause I mean, at this
School
point,
parents are gonna try
we
to
haven't had,
make sure that.
we haven't had very many discussions that would fall into the, where this board would be activated. And really, I don't, for the way that our discipline is handled at this school and the way it's been handled, this has been a much more subtle discussion that we've seen in the past for the last 5 years. So it's not been something that has come to needing this. This is a structure that's required by the state, so we have to have it. Right? Right. So.
And I need it.
Yeah, so, but it hasn't been activated in the past, so if we have a structure, I would say, I'm proposing this as a way to start off, say, okay, this is our structure, and these are the people. And maybe we say, okay, you
I
could
don't
one,
think we identify them. That has not been, that's not prudent. I think what we say is that there are 3 board members who are on the panel. The board members will know who they are, but they're not identified.
I mean, that kind of makes sense, actually.
Yeah, they're not identified. And every expulsion that I've been part of, that's not
Publicly
it's not
known.
publicly known
That
going
makes-
into those into those hearings. Like,
Yeah,
that's not
sure.
something that is broadcasted for obvious reasons, right? The only person that needs to know who that is would be Frank and Meryl. That is that. And
Makes sense.
that's,
Yep. Okay. So, so I can write up directions for, the panel selection, I guess, as well, but that could, in my mind, this part of the conversation was gonna happen in December. I kind of wanted just the policy to be approved by the board, so we have it and we can post it, and then I can fine tune that piece, if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah.
Frank, what do you think?
So there's, listen, I'm fine with the way it's written. I think that on the suspension side, I'm reviewing the RSA 193-13, and that it says that the school board can put one person, they can designate a single person to be on the suspension. What do they call it?
Review panel?
They can, no, because you can extend past the 10 days. You don't need to have it go in front of the review panel to get to beyond 10 days. You can have a certain one person to make that decision. It just
Okay.
can't be the person that suspended the student,
Okay.
right? I'm fine with whatever. If we want to have a whole bunch of people looking at this, there's nothing wrong with that. It's support. Right? And maybe somebody picks up on something outside of it. I just like, it's just. We need to know what we have available for people that are committing to these things, right? And it's the same, it's right.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying, like,
right.
and then
so-
if you have a suspension panel. And it's the same 3 people that are the expulsion panel. You're gonna need 3 different people. And that's 6 of our 7 or 8 members.
The suspension, though, may not be connected to the expulsion necessarily. Not all suspensions will lead to. But it could, though, yeah.
Right, I'm looking at it
Yeah.
from that, like the progressiveness.
I mean, the expulsion. I mean, they're gonna be separate, they have to be considered as separate and individual instances, first of all, and then secondly, you wouldn't form a standing expulsion committee, they would be formed
As the moment.
by need.
Okay, that's contrary, I think, to what
Okay,
you
but
were
that's-
just saying.
Now that we're identifying them, that makes sense to me, yeah, so.
There's the guidelines.
And then it would just be whoever's available.
Correct.
Other than that, I'm fine with it, looks fine. I didn't see any issue. Anyone, yeah, go ahead and make a motion, everybody.
Motion to adopt the,
So I move we approve the expulsion policy pending the board making a decision about the composition of the suspension and committees.
Nick, you have any questions?
Nope, I do not. It's, I agree with the policy as is, or as it's written.
Okay,
I have a question. I can wait for public comment.
thank you. So all those in favor? Aye, aye. David, I can't see you.
Yep, I'm here. Aye.
Yeah, you can't see David,
Oh,
but
yeah.
No, hello. Aye. Aye.
All right, subcommittee updates, governance, you worked on this. That's fantastic. What else you got? David, you have any subcommittee updates? What's the blue? mean?
Yeah, Liz Wilson and I and Liz Southard and the Robin Goldstein met. We've been working with Merrill on this in the back benches. It's clear that as Merrill indicated, like behavior policy needs to get checked. There are a couple of places where we need to go through the handbook systematically and sort of see what's there, much like what we had worked towards during the committee working session that we had in October. So I think the governance committee is gonna spend a lot of time just trying to clean things up in advance of our charter renewal. So we have a lot of work cut out for us, and Meryl has a couple of things on her desk that she wants to get us to work on, and I think we're underway. That would be my comment.
Did we want to bring up, the election of officers, David?
Yes, you want to bring up the election of officers? Go ahead, bring up the election of officers.
I was saying that because when we talked about it at the committee meeting, I think the decision was that we would talk as a board about how we wanted to run that. So should we do that?
Yeah, so election of officers is for December. Right, that's when we're gonna be a clean slate. But also trying to reinforce the cycling of, the population of those positions. And trying to keep it, sharing that responsibility amongst different members of the board. And just where is everybody with what they're feeling? Is that kind of like?
I have no idea how the process works or if there's anything leading up to it that needs to be done there.
In the past, it's just been, someone who's interested nominates, then has somebody nominate them, and then.
And that all happens in December?
Yeah, there's no running or anything.
Like no prior discussion, just sit down and say.
Well, right, well, I think I've been making it clear about my intentions
I know.
for December. So the rest of everyone else is gotta figure out, like, what does that look like?
Right, so when.
Go ahead. So when do we what?
So the next board meeting is when we, like, that just happens. Well, yeah, okay.
But throughout the next month, we can all
Yeah.
be emailing back and forth.
Okay,
and-
okay.
Well, yeah, Liz, I think your intent was also to, suggest that, a couple of things. Make obvious that some people have been serving terms longer than the terms. That's one. So we do need to shift things around. And the other one I think is, I can't remember what it's Frank, et cetera, what the amount of time someone spend on the board before they run for office. Is that supposed to be a year? Is that correct?
What was that?
1 year.
What's he saying?
You're supposed to have a 1-year tenure before you can run for office. Hello, anyone? Confirm that.
Oh, I'm Kate, confirm that.
Thanks, Kate. I appreciate that. You're being very quiet, and sheepish back there in the back benches.
I could neither confirm nor deny that. I could.
Thanks. I just wanted to make sure. So those are some things that are out there. Liz, is that cover it? Thanks for reminding me or reminding us or doing that. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess things I was thinking about like leading up to that is a document that just lays out who the board members are, what our current are, what terms have already been served, and then what the expected term, like renewal date would be. So that would be, and then as board members, we would go from people. I'll tell you that. Oh, no, you've got it. Well, I've got you with that down. Because those are mine.
Yeah, it's great to lay that out. Yeah. So, I don't know when I started, so I wouldn't be able to tell you, but, I think that Katie or Alfie should be able to go back and find that.
It's not.
So, I mean, Frank, you started your current term as president, however, in June of last year, or June of this year, right?
Interim.
Yeah. Interim term, yes, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't we?
I'm starting year 4 of doing a secretary. I think it's a 3-year term for officers. Is that right? I can't do this for more than 3 years. Nick, you started in the treasury capacity last year in January, correct?
Yep, that's right.
So those things, secretary, treasury, and president are gonna have to all shift.
Right, yeah, treasurer doesn't need to be elected.
Right.
David, what year are you on? Year 4 of secretary?
Yeah.
Secretary would be,
Great.
right, and then, president, board president.
And if we ever get rid of the code. And this has to happen in December. So personally, I can't be here at that. We won't be able to attend either.
Cast your ballot.
So,
Well, that's why you're bringing this up, is that it's useful to actually have this as a written sheet so that we could all look at this, and so Liz and John and Delaney can actually see a little bit of the history and what the nitty gritty of what these jobs involve. So if there is a larger discussion to have, it can be conducted prior to the meeting. So if any of you have insights that you feel would be really important to represent, that they get discussed appropriately at that time.
And I guess one thing, which maybe you all know underneath and I don't, is Frank has made it clear he doesn't want to continue this. Am I reading?
That is the message I'm hearing.
yeah, I'm committed to the board.
Yeah.
My family and professional obligations are too great
Right.
to,
So I'm just
do
wondering if
the
there's
extra.
under the surface an idea of the people. If it, like, do we know what we're doing?
there's 3 people that can do it. Rebecca, do you have any interest in being board president?
I don't know if the board has interest in me being president. I don't know if I can hand it to my time.
Right.
And that's,
Kate? Very similar.
I have no interest.
David, you have any interest?
I have interest, but I'll have a heart attack. I can't take it on right now.
That's kind of
Right.
what I was, I think we have an issue. Look, at the end of the day, I will fill the role that needs to be filled, just like I did when it came to the head of school search, when it came to doing the development.
Yep.
I'm following that sword,
So
but
what,
it will be a limited amount, a finite time. Right? Like I will follow that sword for 2 years and then I will step down happily.
with the full support of the board.
If the board.
I mean,
Yeah, with
Ultimately,
full-
So be it.
I,
But
I'm
I'm
happy
not
to
put the
share.
Banner out and parade.
I'm happy to share my shortcomings in acting as the board is the time that it takes to communicate
Right.
and keep everything on track. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that, right? I've shared with you before that I want to do,
Yes.
right? And I will be there. I'll make sure that the hay bales with Robin get picked up and paid for and all that, right? So it's the outside of that, that I don't have the extra, I really don't have the extra to be able to do
One
that.
thing I wanted to bring up, and I don't know if this is something we want to pull in or nix or put to the future, is in our bylaws, there is also a role of like assistant to the board president. So if that is beneficial, that is also a position that can be elected and maybe.
Right.
Maybe
It's just
discuss
been
this
the
in
numbers
summer.
of us have been so few and the duties are so much that that was not something that we have had. And that hasn't been a priority, right? Because it can be done, divide and conquer. Okay. Those duties can be, in other words, Frank can point to somebody and be like, look, I need help with this, can you do this?
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
It seems like one benefit to having the assistant to the president is that's basically like almost a training position for them. When that president's term is up, the assistant to the president could potentially run if they wanted to and be more prepared to
And-
know what
And
that entails.
this is something we could discuss as a position to open up now that we are as many for December. So I think that's something to discuss, even though we have many junior members, this might be the time to think about opening that up. Because we have a lot of stuff, that we're moving very quickly, we've got a lot of stuff moving on right now, and it really is too much to ask one person, especially when we don't have an administrative assistant, you know, in the office to pull this up. So
I think this is
That
a
we could
further
suggest it.
debate, I think this is a further conversation that we can either have in an executive session meeting or we can have behind. the scenes. I don't think this is something that we need to do. Okay. Flush out, I think.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, well,
So,
later.
so regarding election of trustees and officers, we will compile a list of where we are currently, right? Where everybody is in their time on the board, where they are, what roles they've been filling, where they have filled in the past. And I mean, we can each contribute and say, you know, what our intentions are, like, you know, moving forward. And then, so let's just get an email. Let's get an email from each of us. Send it to me. With like the capacity from which we can serve going forward. And then I can put that together with where everybody has been serving. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
And we can look at that. I'll send that back out to everybody and then we can say, oh, yeah, look at this. David's actually been secretary for 9 years. He just didn't remember.
Yeah, it's possible. It feels that way.
Right. Nick
900
is not
years
only treasurer, but he's also lead scientist.
It happened.
It wasn't even documented, but somehow he's lead scientist, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, get those to me. To my, if you can send it to my Hemi Valley Habitat email. Or send it to Merrill and then Merrill can get it to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't mean to make Merrill the middle person, but it is what it is.
It's fine.
And then we can get that rolling for next week. We'll compile that and then we can dwell on that as we give thanks over our Thanksgiving break. We can each take a moment in between turkey legs and have ourselves a thought of where are we? Finance, you got anything for us, Nick?
So I met with Mara last week and we reviewed a couple of policies regarding, as she had mentioned earlier, paid family leave for anyone who is pregnant. And I'm looking into sort of what the best practices are in the state of New Hampshire. Massachusetts already has a state fund set up for that, but we unfortunately do not in New Hampshire. But certainly we should be equitable and offer something formally. So looking into what that could possibly be, and also other matters with regard to compensation for staff and teachers, but still in a fact-finding state at the moment in terms of, again, what is legal and then what we can actually afford.
Did you have any suggestions at this time, or did you see anything from other schools that what their policies were?
I mean, based upon what, again, my general knowledge is that most places that will offer something at a sort of bare bones minimal level would be in the neighborhood of half pay for about 2 months, and that's, I think, I would be okay with that, but if there's a way to possibly do more, I would prefer that for sure.
Okay,
But yeah, still looking into all that.
let's get those 2 5th grade spots filled. I always, everything looks different when we're at full enrollment, right, Nick?
Yeah.
Comes down to a student, just a student or two. Yep.
Right?
Exactly.
Okay, so in crafting that, I mean, that's looking to take effect pretty quickly. Do you want to get back to us next month or shoot us an email with some suggestions? I think that we're all in the same mindset of retention and what it means to, our staff when they have to leave. And also understanding that we are, fully supportive of, their decisions to have children. It's important, right? We want to be amicable to having them, like the workplace, right? Keeping the children in the workplace, right? Throw them in the Ambi baby hammock. Is that what it's called? Is that what that thing was called? The Ambi? But, so that was the thing that goes on the front, isn't it? Oh, the ergo. The Ambi was the sleeping thing that simulated the womb.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay.
There's so many.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to make a proposal via email and just share that, you and Meryl kind of lay out maybe I don't think any of the local districts offer it, do they?
I found nothing.
Yeah, I
Not
don't
in
think they
Vermont.
do. Yeah, and
So, yeah, if we could set ourselves apart, that also
Yeah.
aligns directly with our mission and with the whole mantra of the school. Yeah.
I think we could find the money and
Don't have it.
the incident rate for which it happens, right? It's not going to be like every teacher every year, where we're having to demonstrate this.
Yeah.
Maybe you will, right? Have a bunch of babies running around, right? So,
Like within 24 months, whatever.
yeah,
It can only be, you can't do it every 12 months.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, there's,
every 12 months, so it's good for the future.
yeah. So I think that,
I don't know, 9 to 10 years.
I think that's setting us as, illustrating that, holy crap, the charter school can do it. Why can't Rumney and Plymouth do these offerings? Like Rebecca's saying, it really holds true to mission, our intent as a board to be supportive of staff. And demonstrating, to the community that we're forward thinking about, the importance of our staff and the role that they play here. So, yeah, I'm sure that whatever you present will be received with open arms.
Yep.
Okay.
No, I will do my due diligence and hunt around and make sure that we have something to offer, because yes, that I think that would be perfectly in line with our mission.
Thank you, lead scientist.
And also there is scientific evidence that if one person has baby, physiologically people are more prone to become pregnant just by proxy of being around that person. So just be careful about that.
All right.
So I just, what Nick and I also talked about, a January project for the committee. And that is to start a clear wage table for our salaried,
Yes.
for our hourly employees. So, that's been on the table for a while to get done, so Nick and I, and Frank, hopefully, he's ticking. Hopefully we'll start moving on that as well, but the family leave is first. So we have a nice kind of work ahead plan for the committee.
Thank you, Nick. Any questions for Nick? No, okay. Facilities updates. Rebecca, do you have anything? No. Okay.
There's family, or what is it, facilities weekend is on Saturday. Robin, what are the,
Yeah, anything else needs to be cleaned up. I'll be up there sweeping off some roofs and talking about and checking out anything else needs to be moved around up there. But basically, this is like the last hurrah. We're supposed to have snow on Wednesday. We're well, sleep. Nice. Yeah, that's tomorrow.
Don't make it sound so far away.
It's tomorrow, but it's, I've still got to, anyway,
What are
yeah. And so that will be
what
happening.
times?
There's already been a lot of alerts about that. I mean, Robin's been really good about putting up, reminders on the family page, and we'll keep just sending those out and keep on alerting people to come in to do stuff. It looks like it's gonna be a cold but not sleeting day, which is good. And since we're also doing the float at the same, or doing the parade preparation at the same time, we could get some cross pollination from that as well, which is great. You know, lantern making, tree cutting, I love it. It's all, we could cut some trees and make lanterns on sticks. It's all good. Yeah.
David, did you have something to add?
What are the times on Saturday?
For campus cleanup, it's 11 to 1. For lanterns, it's 10 to 12 on Saturday and Sunday. So lantern making is both days, whereas campus cleanup is Saturday specific from 11 to 1. If you want to come earlier, it's okay. If you want to come later, probably not so much, but 11 to 1 is the official time. And that's the hay bale moving time.
Robin has coordinated with a couple of people. I have their phone numbers as well to chat with them. But I'll go by Agway tomorrow, pay for everything, and work with Agway so that these folks can swing by and pick up the stuff that's needed. So we should be all squared away there. New facility, new school. I did speak with USDA, and I have the vice president. I know him through Habitat, Jason Hicks. I've been trying to meet with him to discuss a USDA guaranteed loan. After talking with Misty. David, did you ever talk with Misty?
Nope.
I know. So after talking with
Who's
Misty, she said that if we can do the guaranteed loan, the interest rate trade-off is negotiable because of the hoops that you have to jump through using the direct loan. So Jason and I am hoping that we can establish that it's in mission alignment with Meredith Village Savings Bank, and the fact that we're a, partner with them, with our banking, which is what it is, that, and that we have the loan on the land with them, that we can consolidate everything and they can get the 80% guarantee through USDA, that the loan will be good. It also allows us a lot more flexibility in the bidding process, where we're no longer required to entertain the federal requirements of the 3 bids, the 60 days for each bid, right? And then the review and the bid opening, etc. This really allows us to work with partners that we know that understand the mission, and we can, really work directly with them. So that's what it frees up a lot of that federal scrutiny. So ideally, we can be, I'd like to get pre-qualified with Meredith Village in the next, probably 3-4 weeks to
Okay,
get a number, right? It would be a
Great.
it would be early Christmas for you, David. And, if we can get a pre-approval and, share that with the architect, and then work, again, reverse engineer what we can afford to build. I mean, it's pretty bare bones as it is, but, fingers crossed that maybe it comes in a little bit, maybe we can get a little bit more than anticipated prior, right? Maybe we can get like 1.7. So if that happens, then we can kind of work with the architect to maybe do a couple extra things.
Okay.
But nothing finalized yet.
do you, where are we with drawings and schematics?
Everything's the same. He has not produced biddable schematics yet because there has not been a structural engineer. Well, there was two things. Number one, the prefabricated walls did not require a structural engineer. So if
Right.
we're supposed to go that direction, that removed the structural engineer. But when we go to stick built on site,
Yeah.
then you need to engage a structural engineer, and he's been shopping. I mean, it's been 2 months of shopping, and ultimately it's 20 grand is what the cost is. That's what he's come up with.
The cost for the structural engineer is 20 grand.
Engineer to sign off on, his designs, which
Got it.
he wholeheartedly said that's just way too much money for what we're doing here. It's not like we have a bunch of overhangs that are, requiring custom beams. It's trusses with walls with a drop ceiling. It cannot get any more simple. And the $20,000 to just put what are the letters for that? PE, is that what it is?
Okay, so I gotta, let's talk offline, but I hear what you're saying. I got it.
So that's where we're at.
Got it. Okay.
Any questions or anything on that, guys? Okay. We are at public comment period number 2. Okay, Robin, you. Liz.
Go ahead, Robin.
Liz,
Hey,
I can.
Robin.
Okay. I just wanted to know if there were any updates. Are there any new committee members that have joined committees? Since we've gone through the trouble of like asking everybody who wants to participate on board committees, I just wanted to know if there was any updates on outreach to the people who had been compiled on the list.
Not as of yet.
Okay. All right. I feel like we have these volunteers and people are saying there's so much work to be done. And yet there are these people waiting in the wings who have time and inclination to help out. And I would encourage you to take advantage of that sooner rather than later before people do other things. Or it's best to grab people early and fresh. That's been my experience.
Thank you, Robin. Liz?
Oh, sure. Did you vote to pass? I couldn't hear very well, the expulsion policy earlier.
We did.
Okay, all right. I spent a lot of time on that. I think there was a piece that maybe could still be added about protections for children who have disabilities. There are certain limits that you bump up against with suspension, and protections that kick into place if there are, for example, 20 cumulative days that a student has been suspended, even if it's not consecutive. Then protections kick in for that student to receive services. I'm sure we do that, but I think it might be something we should consider having as part of the policy. I'm not sure if that's possible now that it's passed. There is an internal appeal that I hadn't seen before that I think could be challenging to execute, but I also, that's the, anyway, just a comment.
Thank you. That's a good point, Liz. Thanks.
Yeah, so Liz, regarding the internal appeal, we took out the DOE as the final appeal. That is not allowed right now, and so the appeal has to be internal. And I agree it could be tricky. And yes, we definitely still can add our special education lines. I'm not sure if they need to be here or if they're in the handbook, or both. So as we go through the handbook and the behavior policy, that is definitely on my mind as well. So thank you for bringing that up.
Okay.
Is there anyone else? I have a public comment that just went over there.
Go ahead, Mr. Goldstein.
So I have been in contact with the Esquamchuck Regatta race director, and he is asking for the names of 3 volunteers that will sign on to help with the race by, I guess, close of business today, 11:15. I didn't realize that there was an 11:15 deadline, but apparently there is. So I don't know exactly what to say there, other than asking for a potential extension from the race director so that we can see if we can run the Esquamchuck Regatta next year.
Gotcha. Without the dates, I can't commit to that. That's right around the time where we're on family vacation. It's that week. It was traditionally the week of vacation, right? It was either the weekend before or the weekend returning.
Yeah, apparently so. Yep.
Not this year, though. This year it actually falls, it's not around vacation for whatever reason. It's like a week after or before or something. It doesn't actually fall on vacation week for whatever reason.
So I guess the question is, do we have do we have the names of 3 volunteers that the request is 3 volunteers who will assist with the race only and not be involved with any of the other activities?
Oh, of the race only?
Yes.
I think that's filled with a tremendous amount of support for the race only, for like being there at the race.
Yeah, he's asking for, he wants the names of 3 people by the end of the day today.
And they have to be board members?
No.
No, they don't. They just need to be members of the community. I am happy to put myself there on that space. I just need the names of 2 other people I can give to the race director so that
You can put me on there.
Okay.
You can put me on there, but also we need to have a meeting with.
I realize that.
Yeah.
Apparently we're not going to have a meeting until he has 3 names.
Okay, so you put me and you on there.
That's 2.
Okay.
That's ridiculous. I mean, that's very childish of him. Like, he's not gonna have a meeting until he gets 3 names, really?
I don't know what to say.
Sorry.
I've been asking for a meeting all week. I've
He
been
wants
asking.
to work with somebody who acts like that.
Put my name down.
All right,
Okay.
so what's 3?
There's 3.
Was that Laux?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
So it's not
also
allowed-
put in there that we need to have a meeting to hash out specifics of how involved the race director needs to be on race day.
Got it.
That there may be a race director that is the person that interacts with all of the other volunteers. And I don't mind being that person. I can be out there with and really mediate the day stuff.
Got it. Got it. I'll make him aware of that change and say, now we need him, now can we please have a meeting?
Ask, I don't know what to say, but okay,
I'm just saying.
yeah.
All right, I did my work.
I heard this year is gonna raise $50,000.
Excellent.
Okay, it'll all be worth it. So right now, that'll be the end of public comment, and we have an executive session to go into.
Wait, Megan had a public comment
Oh.
as well.
Megan, you had a public comment? I'm sorry I missed you.
No, me, I'm all set. Thanks.
For coming tonight.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Okay,
I'm gonna pause
but
recording,
Vicky,
Fred.
David, and Nick,
Yeah.
though.
I'll just stop it or.